It's Sunday, June 14th. I just went to the gym and I was made aware that an Asian lady who really doesn't look, she looks very harmless, but she's a professional stalker, hitman, which explains why she's always seeming to be showering and such when I am. I know they want my phone so they can try to erase my YouTube channel, but that isn't going to be happening. So I was in the pool and it's inside, and I was looking out the window at the clouds, and I saw something I hadn't seen before in the clouds, and it was like a cherub baby, like with, the kind you would see with like blonde hair, like at Valentine's, and then skeleton faces, like hollowed out eyes, like skeleton heads, and all kind of, the clouds were moving actually, and it was changing quickly right before my eyes, but the cherub face was huge, and then the skeleton faces were like smaller, kind of dispersed throughout this cloud formation, and I really felt that, something was communicating with me. And it wasn't until a song was playing, a song I'm not familiar with. There's a song they play all the time, I just miss you, and that's the truth. But there was a song they played before it, and the lyrics for that one were more along the lines, I don't know what the song was called or who it's by, but the lyrics were more like, anything you want tonight, and it was kind of like talking about like, it was like basically laying out like anything you have ever wanted, you can have tonight. And then it was like talking about like, it might not have used the word ecstasy, but it was using descriptive language to describe, some kind of unsurmountable pleasure or whatever, and having whatever the thing is that you've always wanted. And so it was like clearly like a trade your soul kind of thing. And then once again, Alito kind of came through. And maybe it's not Alito, it's just maybe a demon that Alito also has been attached to. And so I'm thinking, I gotta cut cords with something bigger than people. And it was revealed to me, this cherub is, I know like Valentine's Day has with the baby, the baby angel cherub, whatever. Back in the day, like maybe the 1700s or maybe, I don't know, the 1500s. So this, I know this, what they've been doing is going on for a long time. But Valentine's Day with the cherub, that Valentine's Day has a very dark history, and we think that it's just pretty much candy and goodness and love and be mine. But I think it was revealed to me that this is the same thing. So they're still worshiping the same thing. And so I cut ties with Lucifer, which is who I think the cherub baby is, and Jesus, which I think they're the same, just a different name. So I focused on Lucifer. Then it was revealed to me by, I believe, like my spiritual team, that the reason he looks like a baby is because, this whole thing with them consuming human, which a lot of it is babies, but it's not just babies, but it's innocent, okay, innocent people. So babies and children are innocent, more like young children, more than, adults, but adults like myself are innocent as well. So anyway, it makes them look youthful. It's the fountain of youth. It's actually what the fountain of youth is. And so the reason the cherub looks like a baby is because he's the head honcho of this, and he's been doing this for a long time, and so he looks like an infant. That's how much youth he's gained. And I was like, oh my God. So that's, however far back that goes, which I will look into it more, but right now I'm at a bus stop. That's at least as long, which I knew it was at least like the 1500s, because I know like the Mennonites and stuff have been around since then. And honestly, I'm thinking it probably goes back further than that, like however far back we can date anything with Christianity, Judaism, or Muslim. What they're doing goes that far back, and I'm here to stop it. And it is stopping. And it will never ever be able to start up again on earth. Never. And these people are losing their soul. They're going to, a place possibly called the void, but it's more like what the Bible would describe, not hell that later gets disintegrated, but the lake, is it the lake of fire, where there's weeping and gnashing of teeth. It's more like, and I know that's old language, but it's more like they're going somewhere where their soul will be trapped and they will not ever be free. And I'm okay with that. It's funny because my views have changed since, I mean, honestly, all this stuff is like just increasingly more and more and more understanding, more and more and more downloads. You know, I feel like I feel like what I know now isn't I didn't know near as much a month ago, 2 months ago. And, you know, I used to think some of the stuff in the Bible, even though I had believed the Bible was God's word, and it isn't, it's a lie. But it has some truth in it. So all lies need some truth to be able to be, palatable. And so I lost my train of thought. So like, it's kind of funny because I'm very loving and kind and not a vengeful person, but I'm finding myself now that I realize kind of like what I'm here for. Like, I showed mercy at first, but these people are hardened and they don't want mercy, so there's no mercy now. And Spirit has told me they are already condemned, they are already cursed. There is no helping them. There's no helping them. They've been, because the spirit world's been communicating with them, the good spirits and the, you know, benevolent spirits, to say that, because I'm definitely more of a gray witch, but I don't work with anything that desires to eat human. I'm not selling my soul, and that's what keeps kind of being put to me, is this idea of like kind of joining them, and it's usually coming through song. And at this particular gym, this gym is real heavy into trafficking, and this whole area, Midlow, Richmond, Virginia, which includes, like, it pretty much surrounds DC, so DC, and then, you know, this is like a huge worldwide thing. I'm bringing down the biggest, with my spiritual team. I'm not saying this in pride, but I'm here to bring down like the biggest amount of human trafficking that's ever been seen or will ever be seen. And then it will also lead to other ones that are not quite as big throughout the whole world. And this one goes out into other countries. And it hides behind Christianity and Muslim and Judaism and non-religious stuff as well. And then that, is it juicy culture or whatever, but like there's like bags and they had like the juicy written across the butt of like, and I used to always think that was real tacky with like little girls wearing like something that had juicy on their butt, because I would think about pedophiles, how that would really, you know, be like, oh, it would cause whatever written across the backside of anyone really, but especially children. It seemed inappropriate to me, and I always would think of like the pedophile, but now I know like so many more people are pedophiles than I ever realized. But anyway, on some of those, I think that's the right brand. I might have it wrong, but you often see hearts and skeletons together with like a floral motif on like a leather bag or whatever, and it you know, and it doesn't look bad like all together, like it has a certain artistic look, but it's like this goes with that. It's like this love, this idea of like love or hearts, you know, and then death, skeleton. And the lyrics in the one song that I didn't know, it was actually like Lucifer talking to me directly. It was like, because I'm an old soul and I'm, you know, more like a goddess, and it's like I've been somewhere before, and the song lyrics were like as if Lucifer was saying to me, Ocean, me directly, like missing me, and like, but they mentioned love, and it was like love in such a twisted way, and it's like, the song, maybe some of y'all would know it, but the song, the lyrics are something like, I'm not gonna get it right, but it's something like, you're the only one I love, and so you're the only one, so that also means you have the power to destroy me or something. I don't have the tempo and stuff right, but what these people are doing has been around for a long time. Long time. I already had figured that it's been at least, I'm thinking, a couple thousand years. I had said on one of my poems, millennial, like thousands of years. I was thinking a couple. I don't know. And Jesus's faults never came, but I think the Bible is like, it tells you certain things, but it has a wrong skew, and it has a lot of lies. But it's like, I think that somehow they knew there would be a pole shift. The high, elites or whatever that are, false really, because they're only that because they do have spiritual understanding, but then they've taken over, they're human, and they're pedophiles, and they're horrible people in power, but they knew the pole shift was going to be like, maybe they didn't know exactly when, but they knew around when. And then when I was born, or before I was born, they couldn't sacrifice me. They put me into what is called MK Ultra, but surrounded me with like only vampires. Like every friend I've ever tried to even make, everyone has been a vampire, and I'm sure they tried to get me to join them before these different lyrics with these particular songs lately at this particular gym, but I will not. And I have felt the sensation, which I think was allowed because I was just struggling with how could anyone do these things. But it is so addictive, and it is electric. Boogie woogie woogie. It's electric. That's they're boasting in all these songs, and so it's like, once someone does it, I'm sure that it feels like, you would do anything to just experience that again. And then they're doing these all the time, probably like many times a week and stuff. Like, I don't know right now if it's halted because there's an investigation, just like when they announced Ocean's Gate article in USA Today, which was actually speaking in code about me breaking out of the Matrix. They on the same page and stuff, it would say protect your pet, and that meant like petting, how petting is like touching, like, but it meant like pedophilia, protect your pedophilia, like kind of like do things more in such a way that you won't get found out, or maybe even like take a pause. I don't know if these people have taken a pause from drinking the blood and stuff because there's an investigation going on that's like it's like outside of America, investigating America and other places. And I don't know the details. These are just the things that have been revealed to me. But this is wild to me with the cherub in the sky. And I cut cords, and I'm saying no. I'm not going. I don't want your offer. There's nothing I want. I'm not going to do this. And I'm just sharing what's being revealed to me as it is. Also, in like Hansel and Gretel and the original Snow White, like there's this idea of like children being eaten, or like with Snow White in the original, it's her heart was going to be eaten, at least her heart. And I feel like there's more that I'm just not thinking of which ones, but this idea of eating children. And then look at the the mockery and the movie title alone of this Silencing of the Lambs, where he's a cannibal, and you would never think watching that movie, because actors and quote stars, which are false stars, in the movie, everyone is thinking the one guy is the bad guy, and then of course Christianity refers to like Christians are the lamb, or Jesus is the Lamb of God, and so there's supposedly this idea that cannibalism is wrong and it's quite unheard of, not a lot of people would be into that kind of thing, you would think, but it's quite the opposite. And so once again, you have these like polar opposite kind of things, like with right-wing and left-wing political parties and stuff, where they're really on the same team, but they just, or even racism now, I believe, as these people are like, basically being slave drivers to someone like myself who has a massive energy. They don't really care about, it's not really about racism. That's all just a front. That's the whole like pitting the different quote races against each other, but they're actually hand in hand sacrificing whatever color the person is, as long as they have a big energy, whether they're a child or whether it's an adult like myself. But they're not going to sacrifice me, but I'm just saying what they want to do or what they do in practice. And so these things are just pitted to make things look a certain way in the world. Like that movie frames this idea that cannibalism is, of course, appalling, and so Jodie Foster in the movie, like, she also practices cannibalism by habit, not like even just once, and the way, the despicable way that the one ever, can't remember the guy's name, but that one actor, the way he is like portrayed, it's like none of them think it's despicable. They think it's lovely. Maybe that's where we get the idea of love, with this eating human, because it's a really sick, twisted love. But if they want to think of it as love, it's not love. But yeah, and then all these songs are about this that you wouldn't think so on the surface, and we get indoctrinated with things. And something like the electric slide, you wouldn't think that the electric is that feeling from the drinking of human blood or eating human flesh, and that the slide part is the actual act of sex, the penis sliding into, whether it's the anus or the vagina of even children. And so this is like permeating in this culture. It's just